This amazing group of MAET students joined together for 2 weeks of intense learning. We spent a lot of time and brainpower learning when and if we can trust the educational experts. Spending a lot of time outside was a must. Back indoors, there was an abundance of talking, thinking, listening, reflecting, and creating. There were many quick fires and group activities with Year 1, along with a chance to learn from several knowledgeable guest speakers. We couldn't sit still for long. There were educational field trips to the mall, the Tinker Lab, Brody, a tour of the hub, and a fantastic stop at the library, including time playing with virtual reality. It wasn't all fun and games in the 2 weeks on campus and the 4 weeks that followed. We had many opportunities to work. Year 2 conducted research at the Tinker Lab and roamed around campus for our learning space analysis. We had a blast conducting Piaget-style experiments with Lucy, Alice, Gibson, Bobby, and Graham. Our learning style self-reflection allowed us to think about how behaviorism, cognitivism, the situative perspective, and growth mindset played a role in our classroom. The 3x3x3 project allowed us to dive into an article and present it in 3 minutes or less. It took a lot of planning and creativity. Take a quick look at part of my project starring my kids.
What if I get it wrong? I don't know what to do.
Teachers need to find support from others and to share their ideas when creating new learning experiences in the classroom. Encouragement can be found from people a teacher sees in person or can be found virtually. It is important for teachers to look for support from others. This can be found from a variety of sources, such as colleagues, school administrators, parents, or even students who share a knowledge and excitement for a particular creative pursuit. Be willing to exchange ideas with others working within your content area. The act of sharing ideas and supporting each other can go a long way in facing the challenges of bringing creativity into the classroom. The largest project Year 2 had was a research literature review. Hi everyone, so good to see you. I wish I was there with you. Here I am in Arizona, already back at work. So my literature review is based on virtual schools. The actual title is Are K-12 Virtual Schools as Effective as Brick and Mortar? As most of you know, I do teach in a virtual environment, so it was really close to home and a topic that I wanted to look into. But my big question was, does it work? Is the education in virtual schools as effective as the education that students get in brick and mortar or the more traditional schools? So I needed to define effectiveness. And so for my literature review, I was looking for information on more tangible things like the students' test scores, course passing rates, and their retention in schools. Back to the data that I found during this literature review, the overall actual data was a total mixed bag. So there were 1 or 2 studies that said that virtual schools, based on effectiveness measured in, positive student outcomes, testing scores, course passing rates, that students in virtual schools did marginally better than their brick and mortar counterparts. There were also studies that said that, virtual schools are no better than brick and mortar. And there were still further studies that were basically unable to come to any conclusion. And they came out with a very neutral finding because there just wasn't enough information and there wasn't the ability to compare one virtual school with the other. So unfortunately, that's where I found myself with not any kind of conclusive data to prove the effectiveness of brick and mortar. Thank you for this opportunity to reflect on the amazing 2018 summer hybrid program.